You're listening to Nothing But Niners.
This is Kyle Juszczyk, and you're listening to Nothing But Niners.
So now they've got to start from deep in their end of the field, and Garrison Hurst takes advantage of it. He takes the handoff, kicks to his right, gets to the 20. He's in the 30, needs to cut in. He comes back up the right sideline, breaks the third tackle, comes down to the 30. He's down to the 20. He's down to the 10. He's down to the 5. He's into the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown! 49ers! 96-yard run from scrimmage. Garrison Hurst breaking tackle after tackle. Swings down the sideline, throws off bodies like clothes after a marathon.
Young, back to throw. In trouble, he's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again, to the 35, cuts back at the 30, to the 20, the 50, the 10. He died. Touchdown, 49ers.
Third down, Alex takes the snap. Alex looking down in post, and it's good. Touchdown! Touchdown, 49ers!
It is second down. Ryan takes the snap, throws the slant to the left side. It's Russell, intercepted! The 49ers pick it, and Navarro Bowman is redemption! Navarro Bowman running it all the way for the touchdown! No greater redemption!
The San Francisco 49ers, we can do whatever we want.
Click, click, boom. What's going on, faithfuls? It's your boys, Mike and Tony from the Nothing But Niners crew. And, guys, we are back. We're going to talk about the power of pre-draft words. We were fortunate enough to hear from John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, and even Jed York. Yeah, that's right, Jed York. We're going to hear from Jed York today as well. And we're going to talk about all that stuff. We're going to break it down here as the Niners get ready to ramp up to the draft. What is the sense of urgency? How are they feeling? We're going to see how much of that we can get into today. Before we do any and all of that, let me run through these formalities, and then I'm going to turn it over to my man, Tony. If this is your first time here, we want you guys to really, really take a step back and just give us a thumbs up, guys. Hit that like button, please. Let's just pause for a second. I'm going to give you guys some time to do that. Ready? 3, 2, 1. All right. Like button there. Boom. For the first time viewers, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Hopefully you guys enjoy the show. Give us a follow on some of our social media platforms. We have IG. We have Facebook. We have Twitch. Those handles are Nothing But Niners that are spelled all the way out. And then give us a follow on Snapchat and X. That is X, formerly known as Twitter. That is Nothing But 9 ERS. And then last but certainly not least, guys, head on over to the place to have all the fun space. Patreon.com/NB9ERS. All right, I'm your host, Mike Andrews, 83. To my right is Tony. He is on X as well. NJ Niner fan 499. Tony, what's going on with you, big dog? How you doing?
No, man. How are you? Just doing some draft prep stuff as we speak. Working on some things. Other than that, got some free time tonight. I figured jump on, talk some 49er football as the countdown starts for the NFL draft. We are officially 23 days away. Are we?
The draft is on the 24th, so yeah, 23.
23
Tony
days
has
away.
got his head. Tony, you've got your head in the books over there, man, and it's there's a lot of stuff to talk about, bro. Before we can even really start talking about the draft, I wanna let's start with something controversial. The 49ers free agency failures, Tony. Some people don't classify them as failures. I do. This is we'll just blame me. That's fine for now. But the latest news was that the 49ers, for the first time in their tenure here, flew to someone's house to try to recruit them to stay. Try to, now we heard about locking Richard Sherman in a room and not letting him leave without a deal, right? We heard about players and Kyle intervening, say, hey, guys, give him whatever he needs. I need to have this guy here. But for the first time, we're hearing that not only did John and Kyle fly to a player's personal address, they failed to convince him to stay. I've been talking about this aura, this energy around Kyle Shanahan, and that he just maybe seems to rub people the wrong way. I feel like we can't get any established coaches, position coaches, to come and work on this roster if they weren't previously affiliated with Kyle or his father. I feel like we can't really go out there and get free agents. We're like, oh, the Niners don't need big free agents. The Niners don't go and sign big free agents. But maybe it's that they can't. They can't seem to keep their own. They can't seem to keep their own big free agents. Now, I want to give them some credit here. Let me start with love. Let me start with some positivity, right? When you have a guy and you know he's a guy, you don't even let him get to free agency, right?
Right. Yeah.
Charvarius Ward, all right? Christian McCaffrey, right?
Yeah.
The extension with Trent Williams. You don't let him officially touch free agency. Like that's what good teams do, right? So I want to be very clear here. But it seems like once you touch free agency with the 49ers, it's a done deal. You're not coming back, except for Kyle Juszczyk, who might be the one outlier that we've ever seen. Tony, how do they fail at bringing back Dre Greenlaw, man? Like this is something that is concerning to me. I'll be honest with you.
Well, I mean, first of all, we don't know what really happened. We don't know what transpired behind closed doors. We don't even know if they really jumped on a flight. It's all hearsay. I mean, did they come out and say it themselves?
Kyle Shanahan confirmed today that
he did, because I didn't watch any
in person, not a phone call. Yeah.
All right, so they made an attempt, right? So listen, they go into their offseason prep, and they have numbers for people. And the rumor was it was between $8 and $9 million a year for Dre Greenlaw to come back on a 1-year deal. It turned out he signed. I mean, it was 3 years plus for 33-something million. But really, it's essentially, I think, a 1-year or 2-year deal. I think the first year was $11 million with X amount, like a high percentage of it guaranteed. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and bash them for not being able to seal the deal. I mean, they did try to make a final attempt because I honestly think I think that was solid telling them to bring back Dre Greenlaw. That's just my opinion on it. But I just feel that, he wanted guaranteed money, right? Everyone wants guaranteed money because that's your guarantee that you're going to make money in your contract. I'm sure there's injury guarantees included in there that Denver put in. Maybe San Francisco wasn't willing to do. I don't know. We don't know. We'll never know. But the problem is this. Dre Greenlaw came back for one game. He played his ass off. Like totally lifted that defense versus the Rams, made it look like the defense of old, what a lesser quality defensive line. And he still was making plays flying all over the field. But then they didn't put him in the second half. You know what? It's his first game back. You don't want to overdo it. We really don't have a shot for the playoffs. Let's not kill the guy. Following week, he could even make it after one drive. To me, that's scary to invest money in. And it's nothing against the player. It's a part of the business, right? The 49ers have to pay Brock Purdy right now. They have to pay their franchise quarterback. They didn't have to worry about that in past years where they shelled out all that money to Hargrave. They didn't have to worry about that. Now the burden is here. Now they have to deal with the ramifications of signing a franchise quarterback to a massive deal. So you can't have everybody and still have a franchise quarterback. Another thing, there's no guarantee that he would have made it through next season. And I'm not knocking Dre Greenlaw. I like Dre Greenlaw. I think he was the heart and soul of that defense, even with Fred Warner on the field, the emotional side of it. But there comes a point in time where a guy wants to be the guy on his own defense. And I think by him taking this deal and him being able to play the Mike linebacker, not the Will, because he's going there to play the Mike allegedly from what I read. And my friend's a huge Denver fan, and he told me he's going to be he's going to run the defense as a middle linebacker, from what he heard as well. So there comes that aspect of a player where, like, you know what, I want to be the guy. And allegedly, his father told him, "Don't be Scottie Pippen, be Michael Jordan." As playing under the shadow of Fred Warner. So. $2 million difference for that 1-year deal between San Francisco and Denver. And he chose to go to Denver. that tells me it's not. It's more of him being the guy of that defense. And don't forget, DJ Jones is there. Hufanga went there. So he's going with guys. And listen, Denver was, what, a top 5 defense last year?
I don't know if they were that good, but they were.
No, they were a good
top 10 for sure. I know they were definitely top 10. They were in a lot of games, and their offense couldn't do anything.
They were a good defense, and you're adding a Dre Greenlaw type player. I mean, God willing, he stays healthy. They re-signed DJ Jones. You have Surtain on the corner. There's a lot of pieces there. Maybe he felt that this was the opportunity to be on a good defense and be the head of that defense as the middle linebacker, the Mike linebacker for Denver.
I'm not going to put words in Kyle's mouth. Let's hear from Kyle really quick, and then I'm going to respond to everything. Well, not everything, but some of the stuff that you said, because I think that Kyle kind of answers a lot of it here. All right, so let's just listen to what he has to say really quick. And I did fast forward. This was I don't know if you can notice. There's a microphone at the. Oh, you can't see it because I have the border up there. So you can see it says Denver Sports. So these guys were asking specifically about Greenlaw and Hufanga going to that defense as opposed to ours. So he talked about, losing 2 good guys, 2 key contributors, blah, 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 blah. But then they ask about flying out there. Have you done that before? And so on and so forth. So here's the question, and here's the answer. Let me know if you can hear it.
I can't hear that.
Are you saying you cannot hear it, or you can?
No, I can't. I can't hear him at all. It's not even faint. I can't even hear nothing.
The volume's up on it. The viewers, can you guys hear that? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you guys. They're saying they can't hear it. What the hell? How come I can hear that and you can't? That's very, very odd. Hold on, let me check the settings here. I'll tell you what. Well, let me download the video. Maybe I'll just download and upload it. They're saying they can't. Oh, that sucks. Why the hell can't you guys hear that? Oh, I know why you can't hear it. Never mind. I don't need to download the video. All right, hold on. That's my fault. I know what I did wrong. That is all on me. When you share screen on here, you have to select to play the audio. I turn the audio off. So that's my fault. Okay, here we go. My apologies, guys. My bad. Here we go. Let's run it back a little bit.
When he's out there flying around, he makes defenses better.
Have you ever gone to visit a prospective free agent to try to retain him? Like you did with
That was our first.
What was the thought process behind that, or why was he the first?
It just worked out that way. And we would have done that in the past if it came down to it. But, when you're going through the recruiting part, when he's committed to someone else, we wanted to see Dre face-to-face. And he happened to live in Texas, so it was a little farther. Just being a matter of facility. So John and I wanted to fly down there and talk to him and give ourselves one last chance.
But why not sign him before free agency even begins? I mean, why wait until he's agreed to a deal with another team? So,
A+ follow-up question. Why let it get that damn close? I love it, and I'm gonna come back to that too. Here we go.
Try to. There's negotiating tactics and everything. And also, it's not just one player at a time. You're working 20 different things at a time. You're trying to get a backup tackle. You're trying to get a quarterback.
This is all word salad. This is just filler. It has nothing to do with Greenlaw.
You don't just go in order like that. You're negotiating with agents, and these things happen. Sometimes you see something on Twitter, just like you guys saw, and then I still like another shot. Took her another shot, and we weren't able to get it done. It was tough.
Okay. All right. So now we got something we can discuss here. Okay. So there was 3 things. One, he did admit, and you heard it, this was their first time ever doing it. He said, we would have done it before, but, then when we heard that he was going somewhere else, we wanted to look him in his eye and try to convince him to come back. Tony, you talked about the money. They heard about the rumors of the money. They knew that already. But they still flew out there, which meant that the dollars wasn't the issue. They were willing to pay it. They had heard about it already. That's number 1. Number 2, the follow-up question by Burroughs was phenomenal. And he says, why not do it earlier? And then Kyle, was that a pecking order that he say? Like Like, I don't understand the end of this because, and you know what? I'll bring it back up one more time. I want to pay attention to the positions that he named because he said tackle, and I swear to God, the Niners didn't sign a tackle. Like what? So what was he even talking about? Maybe I missed it here. Let me try it again.
Just because they didn't sign him, they could have been in on him, right? That could have been Jalen Moore. Well, Jalen Moore was gone before free agency started, but they could have been on a plan B for the swing tackle being Jalen Moore left.
When Kyle says a position that we signed, raise your hand. Okay? When he says a position that we signed during free agency that would have prevented them from paying Greenlaw, raise your hand.
Trying to get a backup tackle. You're trying to get a quarterback. You're working on linebacker. You're working on safeties. You're working on all these positions. And they don't just.
He said linebacker, quarterback. He said tackle, quarterback, safety. Tony, the two safeties we signed don't make $6 million a year. We didn't sign, okay. Did we sign a backup quarterback? We did. We got Mac Jones. You're telling me that Mac Jones took up all of your time and energy? That was a week and a half after free agency started? Because the question was, why didn't you do it during? Why'd you let it get to? See, and that's what when I said that was all word salad, it wasn't that what Kyle was saying was a lie. It had nothing to do with letting Dre Greenlaw reach free agency. I want you guys to, like, I'm not saying that Kyle's lying. I do think that the Niners had a priority list. If we can obtain a tackle somewhere, let's go ahead and get a tackle. If we can extend Brock Purdy, cool, let's get Brock Purdy or a backup quarterback. That had nothing to do with anything prior to free agency. So listen again.
You tried to. There's negotiating tactics.
Wait.
A deal with another team. So, I mean, why wait until he's agreed to a deal with another team?
Well, we tried to. There's negotiating tactics and everything. And also, it's not just one player at a time. You're working 20 different things at a time. You're trying to get a backup tackle. You're trying to get a quarterback. You're working on linebacker. You're working on safeties. You're working on all these positions.
We didn't get any of them. What is he talking about?
Well, I understand that we did. You're 100% right. We didn't get any of them. But how do you know that they weren't negotiating? Like, there's a 2-day window, right? And we had how many free agents going into free agency?
No. I got to stop you, buddy. Because the 2-day window, hear me out. The 2-day window is the tampering period. The
Correct.
Question was,
they could have been involved with other, and then at the same time doubling down on theirs.
Sure. But the question was why. The question was why even let it get to free agency? You had since the last day of the season. You had all of last season.
Well, how do you know Dre Greenlaw didn't want to sign until he hit free agency? He wanted to test the market. He was at.
And that makes sense. Then that goes back to my previous question.
What I don't understand is how is this on the 49ers when the agent probably said, we're not talking, we're testing, we're seeing what we can get and what the market value is, and then we'll talk from there.
So I respect that. So that oh shit. Damn it. I did the thing where my camera's gonna try to see my hands now. All right. So I gotta be less. All right. Let me stop moving my hands now because it's gonna start doing shit that I didn't ask it to do. So I agree with that. Right? If you try, let's say they tried at the end of the year. I think they put him on IR thinking it was going to scare teams off of Dre Greenlaw. I swear to you, Tony. I swear that I feel like Dre Greenlaw could have finished the year, but the Niners wanted to reserve him, let him heal up more, right? And I think that they were trying to negotiate. So I'm going to agree with you there. I think that they were trying to negotiate while he was on IR for an extension. And Dre Greenlaw's agent and his team, because this is a Niners thing. Let's not pretend like we don't know that the Niners like the stash guys, make them on the PUP and shit like that, right. And then try to get them for the cheap. Right? People know that. People, the book is out on the 49ers and how they handle their players in-house. And I think that Greenlaw's agent said, hell no. The worst thing that we're going to do, or the one thing we're not going to do is accept a deal before we know what the outsiders think our value is. Yeah. Because now we know what the Niners are, and that's the worst case scenario. So boom. So but the question that Kyle was asked had nothing to do with anything of those positions that he answered because we didn't do any of that prior to free agency. Now, back to the thing with once we got to free agency, Greenlaw agrees in principle to this deal. Mm-hmm. The Niners say, wait, don't sign anything. Let us fly out there and talk to you. Per Kyle's mouth, we want to look him in his eyes and try to convince him to come back. We wanted one more hurrah. That means that they weren't afraid of the money. That means that something that you said was, we don't even know if he can stay healthy. We don't even know this and that, and that's kind of scary. Tony, they didn't care about that. They flew out there and still tried to get him to sign that deal. So all of that, not saying that what you're saying is invalid at all, because I came on the platform and said it right after Dre Greenlaw signed somewhere else. We don't even know if this guy's going to stay healthy. He played for 4 games in the last 2 seasons. I said the same thing. I said the same exact thing, right? So I want to be clear, but the Niners weren't concerned with that. And the only reason I'm saying that is because they still flew out there to try to convince him to come back. I just feel like that there has to
be by being in his face and force him to make a split decision, right? And it's kind of a dick move, in my opinion, by them to do that. But here's the flip side of it. I know for a fact, and I'm willing to bet a lot of money that it was only going to be a 1-year deal. I don't think the Niners were going to go further than 1 year. They might have came up off of the $8 to $9 million up into the $10 to $11 million number to try to lure him back, to try to say, we're bringing Salah's back in the house, running the defense. You're coming to a scheme where you had excellent success. Come back, and we're going to try to keep this team together. It didn't work because he, in his head, I honestly feel he has the mentalities. He wants to be a leader of a defense. That's the way I see it. And the reason why I think it's this way is because they might have matched $1 for 25, but I don't think they were going to go past 25 because they didn't know if he could even make it through this season. And it's not a knock against him. It's not. The guy tore his Achilles. You tear your Achilles, you lose your explosion, you lose your lateral agility. You're not the same player, even though he looked like he was. But it didn't go past a half of a game.
And to be fair to all sides, we
just to say what you said is how they try to hide him and try to use that tactic of stashing him on the IR to negotiate.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know that there wasn't a big flare up? How do you know that there wasn't an issue where they're like he can't play?
I
couldn't make it out of one series versus the following. Who was that? Miami? I forgot who it was. The following week after the Rams, after he played that first half, he couldn't make it out of one series. He was on the sideline, helmet off, pacing back and forth.
I think
it's not ideal.
No, I agree with you, but I still maintain my position on they wouldn't have flown out there if they felt conviction like this guy ain't even going to finish the season. I don't think that they thought that. I'm not disagreeing with you because I personally also had those concerns. I did have those concerns.
Well, I think they went out there to fly out to get him back, like I said, for the 1 year. And if he proved he could make it through 3/4 of this year with no setbacks, they would have extended him. But the problem is they were only offering probably a 1 year deal. That was it. In his camp.
No. I think maybe they offered a 1 year. Hear me out. I think maybe they offered the 1 year deal prior to free agency. But once free agency hit and then they make that flight, okay, we got to come with something better. Dre, this is what we'll do. We can put these escalators in. We can do this. We can do that. You got to understand, Dre, we got to protect ourselves. We love you. We want you to be a Niner, right? You can't come back with the same 1 year deal if you're going to fly out there. But they spent more money. They spent more money flying out there than come on, bro.
The key factor what you missed in this whole conversation is the Denver deal is a 1 year deal. That's all it is. There's zero guarantees past year one. So why couldn't the 49?
Wait, on paper, it's not a 1 year deal. You're talking about guarantees.
I'm talking that they could cut him. They could cut him at the end of this year, and they walk away scot free. It's a 1 year deal.
Brock Purdy right now doesn't mean Brock Purdy doesn't have a contract.
Denver signed him to a 3 year, $35 million deal. Listen to me, please hear me out. You break the contract down. You look at the structure of it. It's a 1 year deal with a team option for the last 2. So essentially, if the 49ers offered him a 1 year, $12 million deal, it's the same deal because all it's guaranteed is 1 year. It doesn't matter that it has $25 million sitting on paper on the back end of it. It's essentially a 1 for a 1. The Niners came in. They even said that the offer, Barrows said, I think it was was it Barrows? Someone said, I was listening onto a podcast, that the offer that when they went out there was higher than the Denver Broncos offer for the first year of the deal.
That is now the third time we've heard the Niners offered more money and people chose to go elsewhere. And by the way, the second time it's happened to a linebacker because that guy that chose to go to Dallas instead of us. What was his name?
No, that was because of the coach. No. You're not doing that. You're not doing that.
Why, Tony? What you gotta meet me in the middle somewhere, bro.
You gotta meet me in the middle somewhere. He agreed with the 49ers. He agreed with the 49ers. His former defensive coordinator with the Minnesota Vikings, the guy who drafted him and brought him into the league, called him and said, "Come run with my defense."
You think that's going to convince somebody to come in? You think that, we drafted you, we believed in you, come back here. You think that's enough to convince somebody?
Right.
Wait, just give me a yes or no.
Yes.
You think that's enough? Okay.
Yes.
So then why couldn't the Niners say the same? So then why couldn't the Niners say the same exact thing to Greenlaw? We drafted you, we believed in you, and you're essentially signing a 1-year deal. That's everything that you just said to me. So if it's the same thing, then us believing in you, and we got Robert Saleh back, the same guy that was here your rookie year. Why isn't it the same thing then?
Because he wants to be the leader of the defense. I told you that from the beginning of this.
I love you. All right, and I'm going to leave it at that.
I don't understand how this is so difficult to understand. He said he wants the green dot. He doesn't want to be under Fred Warner anymore. He wants this defense. He wants to be the Mike and run that Denver defense. This is what he wants.
What fan base do you think appreciates Dre Greenlaw more? The 49ers right now or the Broncos right now? It's the 49ers. Yes, you do. You do. And that was a loaded question. And fine, he's not going to get the green dot, but this fan base believes in you way more than the Denver Broncos fan base believes in you. For sure. They haven't seen you do anything in their colors. They absolutely believe in him here more. So the fans are on his side here. The coaches are clearly saying, we want you here. Hey, we drafted you. We clearly believe in you. We kept giving you chances. You were injured. We still extended you. You were injured again. We still want to extend you. All the signs are green lights to come back here, and they can't do it. But I don't want to drag this out. I feel like we talked about Dre Greenlaw way too long, and we got other things to talk about. Everybody out there, we wanted to give y'all something to think about. I think Tony did a phenomenal job presenting things from the team perspective and why you don't overpay for a player. And I think, y'all can let me know if I'm wrong, I think I made a pretty good argument as to why I have concerns that the Niners can't bring people that they want back. All things can be true. All things can be true. But we're going to move on from here. All right? Now, I want to move on to do you want to go to Jed York now, or do you want to go to John Lynch?
Oh, whatever. I don't care.
All right.
I didn't hear. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think I heard any of them, to be honest.
No, it's all good. So we're good. We're gonna do this together. Mike Garafolo spoke with Jed York today. All right, and he posted a 3-minute clip. Now, we may or may not do all 3 minutes, as Tony hasn't heard this yet. All right. Let me make sure I share the audio, as Tony hasn't heard this yet. And you know what? Is there a way for me to change the size of this thing? Only because they're going to show some plays. You know what? Forget it. We're 30 minutes in. If they flag us, they flag us. I don't care anymore. It's whatever. All right. So let's just hear what Jed York has to say. And this is in particular. He's asked about, Tony, the intentions, the purposely not spending cash. Okay? So I think this is something that you're going to want to pay attention to because, Tony, not for nothing, this has been your speaking post for the last 4 seasons with the 49ers regime. This has been something that you have been big on, the cash spending, and now all of a sudden they're saying it. So you got the guy, the man right there in charge of all of that, the cash spending, talking about it. So let's hear what he has to say.
All right, here with Niners owner Jed York. Happy April Fool's Day, bud.
Thanks, man. You're looking really handsome today.
Okay, I got the joke right there.
I'm going to speed it up more.
You've had to make some tough decisions because
you're by the way,
you know that there's a quarterback extension.
Hold on. By the way, to start with that joke straight out the gate, he says it's April Fool's and he says, you look handsome. Did he just call Mike Garafolo ugly to his face? Is that what that was? Like straight out the gate? So Jed York is with the shits right away, just straight out the gate.
Let him do his thing. He's good.
That's fucked up, bro. That is all right. Now I'm playing this at 1.25 the speed, hoping that it doesn't mess up the get us flagged or anything. All right. So I'm speeding it up already. All right. So just so you guys know, it will be a little bit faster than what the normal speed is.
All right, here with Niners owner Jed York. Happy April Fool's Day, bud.
Thanks, man. You're looking really handsome today.
Okay, I got the joke right there. Your offseason, you've had to make some tough decisions because you're at the point now where you know that there's a quarterback extension coming for Brock Purdy. How did you approach this offseason? Did you kind of expect that it would kind of go the way that it has so far?
Yeah, I mean, we knew that we had to make sacrifices around the roster to make sure that you can pay quarterback, right? Like, it's just math. And I've been in situations where you have a great roster and the quarterback isn't set, and it's hard to have sustained success. We want to make sure that Brock is a long-term partner. We want to make sure that he's a part of our team for a long time. And it's a decision, I don't know exactly when we made it, but it was somewhere in the middle of the season, knowing that you can start negotiating at the end of the third year. And it's like, all right, like, he's our guy. And if he's our guy, you have to know that and make those decisions. And that's where we are right now.
So it was in the middle of last season where you guys, as a front office and an organization, said, this is our guy, we're committing to him. What did you see at that point that led you to have that conversation?
I mean, everything that he's done so far, right? Like, he's been great on the field, he's been great off the field. And it wasn't like you sit down in whatever it was, November, or I can't remember when our bye was, but that's generally when we'll have those types of conversations. But you're not getting deep into free agency, but it's like, look, is anybody opposed to doing Brock? And it's like, no, like, you have to. I mean, last year, I think he was like the 30th highest paid college quarterback, right? So when guys with NIL are making more than a third-year NFL pro, like, there's something wrong with the system with not being able to extend guys earlier in the NFL, right? We changed that in the CBA. I think it was in 2000.
By the way, love that Jed York had that information right there available to him and the wherewithal to say it. Right. We all remember what the contracts looked like. I believe Sam Bradford was the last one to sign one of those before the position cap thing that they did for drafted players. Right. I think Bradford was the last guy to get it, or was it Stafford? I always confuse those two, but I think it was Sam Bradford.
Bradford got that monster.
Yeah. And so now what Jed York is basically saying is there's something wrong when our hands are tied and we can't do anything. Right. So I do understand and respect that. I'm gonna throw a flag and call BS already, though, because you could have extended him going into his third year. You have to get to the third year and do the extension then. So if you were really bothered by that, they could have done something about it. But it's cool that Jed York knows, hey, he was the 30th. If you were to put his contract in with all the college quarterbacks, he would have ranked 30th last year when you include the NIL deals. So kudos to Jed York for knowing that and saying that we have to rectify the situation. We got to do something about it. I like that he had the mental wherewithal to bring that up. Now, does that mean that they're going to extend him right now? Let's see what he says. Let's see what he says here.
Conversations, but you're not getting deep into free agency. But it's like, look, is anybody opposed to doing Brock? And it's like, no, like, you have to. I mean, last year, I think he was like the 30th highest paid college quarterback, right? So when guys with NIL are making more than a third-year NFL pro, like, there's something wrong with the system with not being able to extend guys earlier in the NFL, right? We changed that in the CBA. I think it was a 2011 CBA, and we were a team that did it with Frank Boer, Patrick Willis, Joe Staley, several others in a generation past 49ers. And we always want to extend our guys early that are going to be a part of it. I wish we could have done something earlier with Brock. That's just not how the rules work.
I know you guys don't want to negotiate through the media, but you've made it clear that you expect something to get done. How productive have the conversations been to this point?
I think they've been good. Like, it's not conversations that I'm having, right? Like, I've seen Brock a few times at the facility. Like, everything is great. Everything is cordial. And again, like, he's got to make a decision of what he wants to do. Like, I don't think we're that far apart. I think we can sit down and get something done. But whenever he's ready, we're ready.
And if it's something that lasts through the offseason, because sometimes these things drag out a little bit, you're confident that he'll be able to do what he needs to do this offseason without that done?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anything is going to faze Brock. And that's what you love about him. And when he's ready to do something, when he's ready to be a long-term partner with the Niners, then we're ready to have him.
Last one for you. Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, you professed your confidence in both of them as head coach and general manager. How do you assess where they are right now and what they're able to do with this roster to get you back to being a Super Bowl contender?
Look, I mean, there's no one I would rather work with than Kyle and John. They're the best in the league at what they do. I love working with them. I love going to work with them. And when you have challenging circumstances like we have this offseason or anything else, there's no one that you want in the trenches with you more than those two guys.
All right, Tony, that's it. Hopefully it wasn't too fast where you couldn't understand what he was saying. Your thoughts on what our CEO had to say?
Well, it seems like John Lynch, according to what he's saying, Kyle Shanahan are going nowhere. There's a great working rapport between the three of them and whoever else is involved up top. As far as the Brock Purdy thing, I like how he kind of left it in Brock's court. Like, we're ready to sign, so when you're ready to sign, let's go. We'll talk about it and we'll move forward. I think it's the right thing what they're doing. I think going back to the whole Dre Greenlaw situation about money and why didn't they offer him, why didn't they do this to try to keep him back? I said it before, and you saw it, like we saw it with pass practice, not even screw the Rams. Look at Seattle. When they gave Russell Wilson that deal, that whole secondary was gone. Gone. You can't have a top-notch roster when you have to pay a quarterback top-notch dollar. So you got to give it. You got to take from somewhere. So what do? You give up Dre Greenlaw. You give up Funga. You give up all these players, right? But here's the thing. The one person that we're really complaining about is just Dre Greenlaw after all the people we moved on from. We knew Debo was going. We knew Funga was going. We knew Ward was going. We knew all this. So if you're sitting here telling me we lost all these players, but the one person that we're really upset about and we're questioning why didn't the 49ers make an effort, not to mention he's coming off of a massive injury, but it's Dre Greenlaw. It's Dre Greenlaw. This is what we're worried about. But again, you can't be a top-notch roster and pay a top-notch dollar for a quarterback. It doesn't work that way. It hasn't worked that way. There's something called the salary cap that prevents you from doing it. So they made their decisions. They moved on who they felt that they should move on from. And, now it's about how many times do we talk about, we have a stacked top of the roster. We're stacked in the middle of the roster. But, our bottom tier of the roster, they're fringe players. We need to get better with that. Well, guess what? You have to get better with that now because now those guys that you were past years, and think about it, right? 2 years ago, we had one need with 11 or 12 picks, 11 picks, and that was a kicker. And they drafted Jake Moody. That was the one glaring need that they had to
for a
fill.
starter.
For a starter.
Yeah. Yes.
Guess what? You got about 11 spots open right now. Maybe 10. 1, 2, 3. About 8. 8 spots that you got to solidify right now. You need this draft. They need this draft. And that's why they didn't try to trade for anybody last year at the trade deadline. They saw the handwriting on the wall. I honestly think the plan was set when they saw that season and they sat on their hands, but John Lynch had to make that dumb trade to bring in a guy who never played just to say he made a trade. And they moved forward. We currently have, 11 picks now? Or 12? 11?
We got 11, yeah.
11 picks right now. That's before the draft starts. And I don't see them trading any picks away to bring somebody in right now. But who knows? Maybe they might. But they have to address the lower and the middle of the roster. And this draft class is not going to be players that, we're going to sit and let them develop. No. These guys are being thrown in the mix. They are going to compete for significant roles in 2025 because that's what the roster needs them to do. They don't have the luxury of sitting and developing. Those days are done. You paid your quarterback. You move on for some core pieces. And now it's time to get this ball rolling on players. And if they hit, they're on controlled contracts for 4 years at low salaries. And this is what they need. And this is the crucial part. And this is why this is such a crucial draft for them. I think they walk away with probably between 20 to 25 players between draft picks and undrafted free agents, maybe even more. They might bring in more.
No, you don't. We got 11. Wait, hold on. Stop. Just hear me out before you yell at me and curse.
I don't get it. We have 40 people on the roster. We have 45 people under contract. We need to get to 90. How are you telling me we're not going to walk away with at least 30 people?
Because we're going to get more people. We have to get to 90, right? It's not going to be 30. Hear me out. It's not going to be 30 rookies. There's no scenario in the world where the Niners have 30 rookies on this roster. And if I'm wrong,
they're going to have 30 rookies on that final 90. Not in the 53.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
How about this? Let's pull up last year's roster and count how many rookies were on a 90. Okay. I know you don't want to do it.
I got you. I
know you don't want to do it.
49ers 2024 90-man roster. All right, here we go.
I'll do it for you. I got it right here.
You got it already? Because I'm pulling it up.
I have the Lindy's book right in front of me.
I guarantee you there weren't that many rookies. I guarantee you there weren't that many rookies. And here's why I say you're wrong. We're going to fill it, but there's not – we have 11 picks. That means you think we're going to get 19 more rookies to bring into the building. We're not doing that. We might get 10 more. We might get 12 more. Hell, we might get 15 more. We're not getting 20 more rookies to come in, bro. We're going to fill that roster with some more veterans. It's not going to be that many damn rookies, bro. There's no way in hell. There's no way. All right, so this is giving me the wrong numbers here. This is a different wait, I typed in 2024, but they didn't do it. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on.
There was 23 rookies, including drafted and undrafted free agents last year.
Yes, it's not 30. I said, hear me out.
Wait, I'm off 7. You're telling me that's not 30.
That's yes, because I said we got 11. I said we might bring in 12 more. I said we might even bring in 15 more. We're not bringing in 20 more, Tony. There's no way we do that.
Okay.
There's no way. And now, see, when I go to 15 and I say there's no way we do 20, the difference is 5. That's the 7 you're talking about. Like, so that's all I'm saying. There's no chance in hell. They are never going to bring in 20 rookies because you got to remember the rest of those rookies are guys that no one wanted to draft. You're just wasting. I'd rather bring in a veteran to see if he's still got something left in the tank than to bring in that many.
Why would you want to bring in a veteran on a 1-year deal when you're trying to build for the future?
That's what we did.
This is what I don't understand.
It's what we did. How many draft picks did we have last year?
You have to understand they're operating on a different mentality, Mike. You don't see it. You don't see what they're doing right now.
They
Look
can't
at all
because
the free agents they signed. Look at the free agents they signed. It's telling you what anybody.
They're doing. We were bargain bin shopping on day 1 of free agency, Tony.
So what does that tell you? They're depending on a rookie class to come in for fill this 90. Maybe you add 5 free agents. 5, maybe. Maybe you add 5. And I don't even think they're going to add 5 because they have opportunities that land 5 right now. They were in on EJ Speed for 1 year, $5 million. They didn't do it, right? They didn't do it. They were one of the last teams to make an offer for EJ Speed from the Colts. He chose to sign with the Texans. 1 year, $5 million. Who's coming here?
I wish we had up to Monday together. I know that our venture for the draft is going to end Sunday night. I wish we had until Monday together. I'm in Saturday night, yeah. I wish we had up until Monday together because I'd buy you a steak dinner. There's no chance that we bring in that many rookies. There's no chance.
I'm telling you, they're putting all their eggs in this basket for this draft class, and they're going balls to the wall.
This draft class ain't that good, bro.
What are you talking about? Do you listen to any of these podcasts?
I don't give a fuck what these podcasts are saying. I'm trusting my eyes, bro. You know why Tony, there's a reason the Niners don't even have 6th-round picks. They don't give a shit after a certain point. They are focused on the top 150, bro. They're focused on the top 150. That's it. Everything else after that is just a shot in the dark.
You're right. It is a shot in the dark. Okay. You just said something to me. You just said something to me that you just sunk your own ship. They don't give a shit about the top 150 or less, right? After 150, they don't give a shit. Okay. They're about to pay the last pick in the draft $55 million a year. So what does that do to your notion? Nothing. It's done. This team's in a different mindset. They can't afford to pay Brock Purdy $55 million and go out and say, oh, we're going to give – this is why they got in trouble. I don't understand why they're saying this is one of the deepest drafts. They're talking about defensive tackles. You could find a starter going into round 4.
Okay.
I don't get it. Everyone sees this except for you. Look, read the chat. Mike's bugging. This is the deepest draft. The people are telling you this. It's not just me.
Listen, we will see. I'm not going to sit here and try to convince y'all of anything. I'm crazy. I'm always the crazy one, and I'm okay with that. Y'all know I embrace the crazy one. I'm okay with that. But watch this. Just watch what happens after the draft. You're going to see all these announcements of all these undrafted free agents getting signed here, right? The Niners are going to bring these guys in. They're going to look at these guys and say, yeah, I was tripping. And he's going to be off the roster, and they're going to bring in some veterans. I'm telling you, they're going to replace these guys with veterans faster than you can say your own name.
Mike,
I'm telling you.
I don't give a fuck what they do, but I'm telling you, they're going to walk away between 25 and 30 from this draft. I'm telling you, they need to.
Okay.
They need to. Just to get to the 90 spot. If they choose after OTAs, okay, this guy's not good, and you see them cut, that's fine. I'm not saying.
Tell me straight up that the Niners trade back 3 times after the 4th round.
Trade back after the 4th round? No.
3 times?
No, not after the 4th round, no.
So why not guarantee you can get a guy instead of chancing at the free agency? We have no 6th-round picks as of this moment right now. It is 9:58 p.m. East Coast time. We have no 3. 2.
Okay. 3. They can use 2 of them to move up into the 6th round and grab somebody. So there's your notion.
Yeah, but if you move up, then that's less picks you're going to get. So now you're telling me they're going to pick up even more undrafted free agents.
Mike, you have to understand they're not operating on a normal protocol. Last year,
this draft is so deep, then trade back in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round.
I'm telling you, I think they're going to trade back at 11, and I think they might trade back at 43. I'm telling you right now, I think they're going to move back. We have 3
5th-round picks. We're not trading back?
No, that's their home run round. That's where they've been have the most successes. Their 5th-round pick. Why do you think they moved up into the 5th round? Put themselves in a better position.
We can't secure guys that we draft and believe in. And now all of a sudden we're going to sit there and pitch to players and pitch to guys that have no ties to the 49ers, and they're going to sign with us over other teams? Hell no. We're going to have the bottom of the bottom of the bottom. Imagine picking from a list of listen to this. Imagine picking from a list of 1,000 undrafted free agents, and then you're getting the bottom of that 1,000. The Niners aren't going to want to do that. We can't afford to do that as far as a talent perspective, Tony. The Niners would rather have a 32-year-old corner than a 20-year-old corner that the entire league passed on 12 times. Fuck 7 because of 7 rounds. They'd rather have that guy than somebody that's been passed up on 12 times. I'm telling you something, bro. We can't afford to have that type of talent discrepancy.
I'm telling you, you're wrong. I'm telling you, this regime, other than the first 2 years, has never, ever been in a spot like this with such a massive roster turnover. You don't understand what's transpiring in front of your eyes. They can't have a middle level of veteran free agents. They have to supplement using the draft. They have 11 picks. If they trade 2 of them, that puts them to 9. Okay? You still have to fulfill a 90-man roster. Even if they add, let's say they have 50 guys. I don't even think they have 50 guys. Let's say they have 50 guys. They add 9 draft picks. That's 59. You need to get to 90. You're not signing 31 free agents. So what are you talking about? There's going to be at least 15 to 20 undrafted free agents brought in for camp, and then you supplement 1, 2, maybe 3 veterans in, and then you go into your camp. The OTAs, I'm telling you, they're probably going to have, I'm telling you, I swear, it's going to be between 25 and 30 undrafted, a draft class, a total complete draft class. Picks, undrafted free agents. Then they're going to invite people on. They're going to do, all right, I'm not talking. I'm done.
Keep going. I haven't said a word.
I'm not sitting here getting crazy. I'm not getting myself all revved up. I'm not doing it because you don't want to see what I'm trying to tell you.
I'm not I haven't said anything.
I'm done. Just talk. Go ahead. What do you want to talk about?
No, I didn't say a word. Keep going. Finish your thought. You're telling me that we're going to have 30 rookies in the building.
Yes, I'm telling you that. I'm telling you that 90-man roster will have 30 rookies, whether it's 9 or 11 draft picks. You do the math. However you feel better figuring it out, do it. Because I'm telling you right now, this roster has never been so depleted before since minus year 1 or 2. It's never been so depleted before than it is this year. They couldn't sign a lot of guys. How many people did I tell you they signed last year? We had 24. We had
24.
24 total. So that's a 9-man draft, 8-man draft, 9-man draft class, and 15 players signed as undrafted free agents.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's 15 players and 9. That's 24. So that means they went in to the 90 minus 24 is what?
90 minus 24 is 70, 76?
So that means they had
66.
That means they had 66 players under contract. We don't have that. We don't have that. So where are they going to come from? You're going to call fucking Elon Musk and make a robot to come play fullback for you? What are you talking about? You have to fulfill the roster.
Okay. All right. The Niners didn't have 66 players under contract going into the draft last year either. They did not. They signed more vets after the draft. That's been my point this whole time. That's all I've been saying.
Okay, but Mike, they're not operating on that skill set. They went out day one and signed Leonard Floyd, didn't they? They signed all these free agents day one. They traded for Malik Collins. They signed the defensive tackle that from Cleveland. They went out and signed all these players on day one. Who'd they sign this year?
Hey,
Tell me. I'm waiting here.
Is that fair? We'll see.
Yeah, sure, it's fair. Whatever.
We got a super chat here from Sean. He says maybe it was because Ufa went to Denver. He. Not a good word in their language. Now let me just interpret because I know some people don't get Sean's comments here. All right, Ufa is a Samoan word that means like tired or like phew in English. Like it means tired. It means exhausted. It means like relief. Like phew. So that's what he's saying there. How much are we paying Purdy? Better not be 60 a year. Tony, how much do you think Brock Purdy's going to get?
I'd say anywhere between 50 and 55 million. On paper.
Okay. All right. Sean is back again. Oh, wait, I forgot to play sound effects, man. Hold on. Jesus loves Crazy Mike, although he did cast Legion out. Greenlaw had 2 busted knees, a torn Achilles, plus a torn Achilles. We have cheerleaders. Didn't need another at 12 million. Getting carted off isn't a motivator. Be blessed. So he's kind of with you in letting the Greenlaw thing go. That's what this message says to me. We don't need an expensive ass cheerleader. You on the sideline isn't helping anybody. So Sean is saying let him go, bring in the talent, and let's see what we got. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. People are saying that we should bet some wings and all that. Tony knows I'm going to send them wings anyway. Like, I got the hookup for Tony, so he knows what it's going to be. That's right, and Kenny knows it's going to be boneless. Kenny knows Tony only eats boneless wings. Look at that. Tony, you've been doing this for too long, bro. They know your preference in the damn wings, man. What's your sauce, Tony?
Honey barbecue.
There it is.
Right? Yeah, barbecue.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one. It's coming. It is coming. All right. We also had the privilege of hearing from John Lynch. Now, this one is not going to have any audio with it, but we have an article. All right. For some reason, the John Lynch presser wasn't made public, so we have to find different write-ups. This one is directly from 49ers.com. And in my opinion, John Lynch starts throwing shots at the rest of the league, but whatever. So they have it broken down into categories. Free agency departures. The 49ers parted ways with a number of players during free agency, several of which were drafted and developed right here in the Bay. While letting go of these talented athletes was certainly not easy for the San Francisco front office, there was a concerted effort this offseason to create a cap space and infuse the roster with some youth headed into next season. As it stands, a majority of the 49ers players that became free agents at the start of the new league year have gone on to earn contracts elsewhere. These were John Lynch's words here, all right? It's flattering that the league saw a roster like that, John Lynch said. That's the shot that I think John Lynch is taking. Let me blow this up here so you guys can see it a little bit better. This is the shot I think John Lynch is taking. I think what this means is it's cool that they wanted to pay these guys $80+ million, but we didn't see their value at that. So if they want to pay them that kind of money, cool, good for them. It's flattering that the league viewed our roster as that talented. But yeah, it wasn't really that. He goes on to say, we've always been very aggressive in free agency. That's not true. It just had gotten to the point our roster was expensive and getting a little bit older. It was difficult to sit back. It's hard when you draft players, you develop them. Our coaches have put a lot of great work in, too. Our scouts did a great job identifying guys to watch them leave. Who did this pertain to, Tony? Because they didn't draft Dre Greenlaw. The only guys that I can think of that they drafted that departed were I'm sorry, I didn't mean Dre Greenlaw. I meant to say Charvarius Ward. The only guys that I think that they drafted and developed were Dre Greenlaw, Talanoa Hufanga, and Aaron Banks. Were those the only free agents at the Niners?
They didn't draft Mason, but they signed him.
Yeah, but he said the word draft. That's why I didn't include him in that. What about the lineman? Moore was a drafted guy. Yeah,
he was drafted.
All right. So I should have included more there. All right. Let's keep it moving here. Talk about some trades. It says, following the trades for wide receiver Deebo Samuel and running back Jordan Mason, San Francisco was set to enter the 2025 draft with 11 picks. They've also added 9 new faces to the organization, including bringing former 2021 first-rounder Mac Jones to back up Purdy. John Lynch on that says, I think, Yeah, I think it was necessary. We also added a lot of players that we like. We're excited about that. We have 11 draft picks, the most we've had since we've been here. 4 in the top 100. Tell me, how many picks do you think the Niners make in the top 100? John Lynch says right there, a mouse just ran across my floor. John Lynch says we have 4 right now. Do we have 4.5, more or less? What do you think?
I think they might have more. I think I would go over 4.5.
Okay. All right. Progress with Purdy's contract. Brock wants to be us. What the fuck does that mean? Brock wants to be us. We want Brock to be with us. I think they left out the word with. Brock wants to be with us. Yeah. Brock wants to be with us, Lynch said.
Wants to be us.
When that is the case, these things typically get done. There is motivation on both sides, and that is always a good thing. Could the deal be done as early as the start of the offseason workout program? I don't think it's too optimistic, which means yes, it's possible. I understand why Brock wants that. We'd like that very much. So we just have to find that right place for both sides. I would like nothing more than for that to be the case. They went on to ask him about Ayuk and his recovery, and the GM said, we're pleased with Brandon's progress. He's been working hard and got good reviews from Dr. E. That was kind of the key marker, and he did well. All right. Then they asked him about Kyle Juszczyk, who left in free agency and then came back later on. He said, I think it's a win because we have an opportunity with a really good football player who was at the core of our leadership of our football team, a captain last year, and has a chance to make that 10-year wall. That would be really, really cool. The fact that we tried to show him the respect that he deserved to go see what his market was, and then at the end, we found a way to make it work, we're really happy. I don't think it's any secret that people have a high respect and regard for Kyle Shanahan's offense acumen and scheme, and at the forefront of that is the way we use Kyle Juszczyk at fullback. All right, Tony. What are your thoughts on what we heard from John Lynch? Those were all the different conversations broken down there. What do you think?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, they that whole thing with Juice. I mean, they cut him. They let him test it. There was rumors saying that Pittsburgh offered him more money. I don't know if I believe that. But when it came down to it, he just wanted to be back in San Francisco, so he came back. His deal is structured weird. They have 4 void years at the end of that deal, which is insane for like $850,000 a year, I think it is. But I mean, I don't know. As far as everything else in that statement, I mean, I guess that they executed their plan in their eyes. I don't know. I don't know what to think with John Lynch. You don't know what he's talking about.
Do you think the 49ers, you just said they executed their plan here. Do you think the 49ers offseason went the way they thought it was going to go? Do you think that
I do. I do. For them to eat almost $95 million in dead cap, that was their plan. You don't just wake up one morning and say, "Oh, I'm cutting everybody." That's a plan. You have to go into the offseason with the intent saying, "Okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take it on the chin this year. We still feel we can compete without these guys. We have the weakest schedule coming into the season, and let's make a push and see if we can do it. And then next year, we should have a financial reset." I think there's only maybe 1 or 2 guys on the dead cap list. I think it just is actually. It's not Debo because they took the brunt of it this year. I think Hargrave might have a little something on it next year. But other than that, they should be crystal clear from everybody. Armstead, Debo, all those guys. And then, 2026, I guess that could be the first big payment towards Purdy, or however they structure it. But I fully, for them, for them to sit on their hands in free agency and knowing that you have to totally decimate your full defensive line, right? Your full defensive line is gone, minus Evan Anderson and the guy they signed from the I can never remember this guy's name, and I liked him coming out of Missouri. I don't know why I can't, but Bosa, Evan Anderson, you have of course Mato's back. Other than that, it's gone. It's decimated. They're gone. You have 5 people on your defensive line. We should have 10. And you don't sign a defensive lineman. I just feel that they said it was a deep draft for the defensive line. Let's flip our defense, bring Salah in, a leader of men, and let him teach these guys, motivate these young guys, and let's go, make a push next year.
Are you watching SportsCenter right now, Tony?
No, I'm not.
Sean had a super chat here. He says,
Mario.
Tony is so mad he's watching SportsCenter.
I don't watch SportsCenter no more.
There you go.
I don't like sports.
Baseball what you just started back up. Are you a Mets or a Yankees guy, Tony?
I don't have a team in baseball. I just like watching good games. I like watching Boston and the Yankees. I like watching the Mets and the Yankees. I like watching the Giants and the Dodgers.
It said Kalia Davis is the guy's name that you were talking about.
No, isn't that the one we drafted?
We drafted Kalia Davis, and then there was
a Cali Davis. That's the guy we traded for at the last minute last year from the Texans.
He didn't get on the field for us, right?
No.
There was Kalia Davis and damn it. Their names are super duper similar.
I think one has the H and one doesn't.
Is that the only difference?
Or the H might be
Khalil. Oh, what? Khalil and Kalia. It was Khalil and Kalia. That's what it was. So Khalil is the older NFL veteran. He's 28 years old.
That's the guy we traded.
Yeah. He was with the Colts, the Steelers, the Rams, and last with the Niners. Right now, he is. Is he a free agent right now? He is a free agent right now. So we did that, and he didn't touch the field for us. And then Kalia Davis is still on
the guy we drafted. Roster. He was the former linebacker that we drafted, and that converted to defensive tackle at UCF.
Yeah, and he's still on that roster. So Kalia is gone. I'm sorry, Khalil is gone. Crow's name combines the two of them, so I have to take that off. It's messing me up. Khalil is gone. Kalia is still here. There you go. There you go. All right. The 49ers also made a promotion in-house today. Did you hear about that, Tony?
Yeah, I saw that. I like that.
They promoted the tight end coach to what position? Hold on, let me find it. It was
run game coordinator.
Fleury, right? Run game coordinator. Tight ends coach, run game coordinator. Now, that's interesting because previously that was a job for Chris Forrester.
Yeah, but he got the assistant head coach title now because Staley left.
So Kyle Shanahan promotes tight end coach Brian Fleury with the added title of run game coordinator. Do you think anything changes?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think anything changes. I think the offense is. Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. I expect this offense to go back to the more traditional Kyle Shanahan offense. Back under center, run the ball, get the run game going, go back to a play action pass. That's what I think it's gonna be like.
Okay, all right. We'll see how things go. It's hard to tell because these guys don't really have much of a history to go off of. You know what I mean? Like when we're watching the names that are this guy, the coordinator, offensive coordinator, we just don't know because those guys haven't really done anything. So we have to kind of like keep our ears peeled. You know, what's the matter?
No, something I'm just looking at. It popped up on my phone.
Tony, do we have anything else to go over before we get up out of here, man? I think we covered all the latest news here. You got anything else? I see somebody in here asking what happened to KJ Wright.
He's still there.
He's still the 49ers defensive quality control coach. He has not changed positions or anything.
I don't like the statements from Shanahan about Brendel.
Oh, shit. I was trying to let this go. Okay, here we go. Let's do it. Do the 49ers need a new center? Go ahead, Tony. The floor is yours.
Yeah, but due to the plans that they set from like halfway into last year when they saw the writing on the wall that they were old and slow and injured, they wanted to reshuffle the deck. And they sat on their hands with Dahlman. I don't give a shit what they say. There is no reason why you bring in Hennessy if he's not coming in here to compete for center. He wasn't that good as a guard. He's a better center than he was a guard. They signed Drake Nugent as an undrafted free agent last year. I honestly think he should be given every opportunity to win the center spot, in my opinion. He was a great center in Michigan. He was a former Stanford Cardinal, high IQ player, captain, Outland. I think he won the Outland Award. Or there's a center. Is there a top center award in college? I don't know. But team captain there. I think he should be given every opportunity to win that center spot. But I know what they're going to do. They're going to try to force feed Brendel in there with Zakel and Hennessy. It's nothing against Brendel. And if you listen because I saw a clip of this because someone retweeted it saying, how are we not bringing in competition for a center? And I had to listen to it because I just wanted to hear what Kyle said, well, why they're not bringing in the center. And he said he's very good at the calls and protections and the pass game and shift and adjustments in the run game. So what does that tell you? That tells me that he's a great X and O mental. His mental part of the game is top tier. But just because you're smart and you have the ability to identify something and make a snap decision in a call to adjust the whole protection or slide the whole line to the other direction, doesn't mean you should be starting every year when you're getting knocked on your ass. So, like I said, if the 49ers signed one free agent in this class and it was Drew Dahlman, I would give it an A+. Because I think that was the issue with this offensive line, was the pressure coming up the middle continuously. And how many times we've seen Brock roll out of the pocket or step up and run to the right, run to the left to create more time because he's getting pushed back into his lap. Brock is not a tall quarterback, so when he's getting bowled over and he's coming into his face, it's just a recipe for disaster. So with that being said, I am shocked that they didn't address that in free agency, and I'm shocked that Kyle Shanahan sat there and said, they're good with Brendel playing center.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? There's two communities that are watching football right now. There's the analytics community that don't give a shit what their eyes tell them, and they're just going to go based off of metrics. And then there's the opposite side of the people who don't give a shit about analytics and say, I watched that guy, he's trash. I don't give a fuck what the other guys around the league did. Kyle is the former. Kyle is an analytics guy, and his answer says that. Here's the exact quote from Kyle Shanahan here. Let me move that over just a little bit more so you guys can see it. Kyle Shanahan, shout out to Steph Sanchez. Kyle Shanahan, when asked by Jennifer Lee Chan to assess Jake Brendel's play last year, I thought Jake Brendel played well. When you study centers throughout the league, analytics, and things like that, and you watch all these guys, I think Jake's up there when it comes to his pass protection. I think Jake does protection as good as anyone in this league. I think he's always been a very good run player for us too. I think Jake's played at a pretty high level. I think our whole line has. I mean, what else is there, bro? If this isn't
listen, I gotta be honest.
I don't know. This is telling me that this team just buys PFF and just goes based off of that.
I got to be honest with you, and you can give me grief. Anyone can give me grief. I can give two shits. But Brendel struggled. Banks struggled big time last year. I think Pooney started up very strong, but as the season got deep into the year, like games like 14, 15, 16, maybe 13, you saw him struggle a little bit. You know, you got to expect that from a rookie, his whole offseason leading up to the draft process and coming in. But I'm going to say this, and I'm going to stand firm with this. I think Colton McKivitz, his play improved last year. I really do. I mean, do they need to worry about the future for both right and left tackle? Yes, they need to start worrying about identifying people to be the next man up. Because right now, there's no one behind them too. I'm thinking that the plan could be shifting Burford to the back to the swing tackle instead of playing guard, going with Barch at left guard, let Barch, Sakel, a rookie, or whoever compete for the left guard spot. Let the guys compete at center. I think right guard's pretty much locked down. Trent's at left tackle if he comes back. And McKivitz is on the right side. I think McKivitz had a solid year. I think he improved. I don't think he was the weak link on that offensive line this year. So, it's a positive thing. And I know they really are high on him. And I think that's one person that if they're going to stick up and say, oh, like we value, we're this, we're that, we're this, I would say it's McKivitz over Brendel.
I have got no comment on that subject at all. That's it. I don't know what every individual lineman's responsibilities were on a play. I can see how they can react after the snap, but I don't know what their jobs were. Right? So, like, how many times do you see a guard have no one in front of him? All right, let me go help the center. All right, let me go help the tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you don't really know, should they have gone to the second level instead of helping the guard or, helping the center or the tackle? I don't know. So I think that when I hear Kyle say things like, when you compare him to guys around the league, like, no, what'd you ask him to do and how well did he do it? I don't want to hear the offensive coordinator, the guy that designs the plays and the schemes, say, well, when you look at him compared to everybody else, fuck everybody else. How good is he in your system? That's what matters to me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't like comparing because they're not. Your philosophy in scheme and blocking is different than every other team's.
Right.
Well, not every other team, because a lot of people run this Kyle Shanahan offense, but like when you're talking about this scheme and how they block this scheme, it's always a player on the move, right, in the run game. So it's 9 out of 10 times is a combo block to the second level. So if it's play side is McKivit's side, you'll see him down block and then go to the second level and try to seal that linebacker or hook the defensive end, depending on his alignment, whether there's a tight end onto his side or not. And then they would combo block that to the second level. So it's a lot of combo blockings to the second that leads to a second level pickup. So it's not like the typical, okay, he's inside shading me. I just got to drive him down and just put him onto the ground, and that's all I'm responsible for. Where that's more of like the road grader type offensive lineman. But
right
in this scheme, it's more working together in unison to take care of 2 blocks at one time. So that's why you don't need top-notch, like, I'm not going to say top-notch, but you don't need to. Like, I think they this team's learned lessons, like, with how they address things on their roster, right? I think they're very gun-shy when it comes to their first round. I think they overthink things because of the success that they had, the lack of success that they've had in the first round. So I kind of feel like previous years, they go in with safe mentalities. Oh, he's the top, like McGlinchey. They knew what McGlinchey was. He was a 6'8" tackle that barely weighed 300 pounds who played with a high pad level. You knew he was going to struggle. So I don't know why they drafted him, but they did what they did. So, I mean, I'll tell you this, in the run game, McGlinchey was great. I like McGlinchey in the run game. And the pass protection, you saw the struggles. So,
liability. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, maybe what Forrester's saying is truly, I believe that's their philosophy. I could work with something because of the style that we run in our offense and our protections and our run game and our run fits and stuff like that. I'd rather get better players higher up with the ball in their hand than just saying, oh, we're going to grab. Like, I'll give you an example, right? Banks. This kid Banks from Texas. Everyone thinks he's a lot of people, not everyone, a lot of people thinks he's the top tackle.
He's got some flaws, but when you look at the field and the rest of the tackles, he's one of the better prospects in this draft.
He's one of the better ones, but I'm not going to sit there and say I'm taking him at 11 when you're asking him to go from the left side to the right side, and you don't know how he's going to respond on the right side.
Right, and that's why I've been saying Mimbow. I'm not moving a guy. If I'm picking at 11, you're not going to be an experiment. So I'm with you on that.
Correct. So my thing is this. If you feel McKivitz right now is that solid at the right side, I'm okay. Well, I honestly think the first 2 rounds of this draft, I think this is going to be a heavy solid draft, in my honest opinion. I think 100% it's going to be a draft of the trenches, but I think Saleh is going to have a lot of say in this draft of who he wants to bring in and add to this defensive line. Between him, Kocurek, and Gus Bradley, I think they're all going to be involved in this with Lynch and the scouts because they need to solidify this defense. If they can't solidify this defense, this season's done before it even started. So that's why I think they're going to be very hands-on with this group. I think by that whole group of 4 or 5 guys going up to Oregon told you something. Looking at all those defensive players from Oregon, a couple offensive players as well that they were probably taking a look at. But I just feel they were so locked in at the Senior Bowl on the defensive line, on the trenches. They were locked in on that. All like all the heavy hitters, Tariq Ahmad, Gilliam, John Lynch, KJ Wright was there. So KJ Wright worked hands-on with these guys. So he's got the inside scoop. They observed it. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think this draft is going to go down probably as one of the most important drafts in this regime's time in San Francisco.
If this draft is bad, this team is bad for the next 3 years. I don't care about Brock Purdy. I don't care about the wide receivers. I don't care about the running backs. If this is a bad draft, we're bad for the next 3 years.
But what would you declare bad?
If we don't get 4 starters out of this draft, and that's a lot, by the way. No team should have to get 4 starters out of a draft. But when I say starters, you know what? Let me change it. We need 2 starters and 2 heavy rotational guys. We have to get 2 people on that defensive line. We have to. We have to get 1 guy on that defensive line. I mean, on the offensive line. We need to get someone on the offensive line. There's a big hole at that guard position. Some people will say there's a hole at the center position and the right tackle position. And then we have no defensive tackles, no edge guy. That's a lot. That's 7 positions right there. 6. That's 6 positions right there. I didn't even name anyone in the secondary. I didn't name the other linebacker position. We have to get 2 starters and 2 really, really good contributors. I'm not going to say starters on the defense because I know they rotate guys all the time on the defensive line. I won't put that kind of pressure on them. But the Niners have to get a starting offensive lineman in this draft. The good news is you don't have to get center or guard in the first 2 rounds. You can get a starter later on if you want.
See, and that's the problem because right now you can get like I told you before, you can get a defensive tackle all the way into round 4 that'll start for you. Right now. Borderline for very low 3, high 4. You could get a starting defensive tackle. I really, truly believe that.
We will see.
And I honestly think
if you can get a starter that late, that means you can get an all-pro earlier.
I think there's one defensive tackle that they're locked in on. I think it's the kid from Michigan. And if he's not there, which I don't think he's going to be there, I think they move down. And I think they try to they're in a tough spot because they need their top 2 picks have to be impact player day 1 contributors. They have to be. There's no excuse for them not to be.
No matter where they make those picks, by the way.
Well, I'm saying just stay
trade up, if they trade down, those next 2, the first 2 picks. No, even forget staying pat. If they decide to trade up, or if they decide to trade back, the first 2 picks have to be day 1 impactful players. I agree with you on that.
That's the only way I see it. They have to hit it out of the park with those first 2 picks. I could see them doubling down a defensive tackle. I could see them going defensive tackle, defensive end. I could see them going defensive tackle, potentially linebacker. I could see them going. Depends on how it falls. I mean, you don't know. I mean, you could take a left tackle and start grooming them to slide into left guard. I just don't see that. They can't go in with the mentality. And I'm not saying they are. I don't think they will. But they can't go in with the mentality of sitting and developing. They can't. They can't do it. Terradome, he is on my sleeper list. I'm telling you right now.
And I didn't even get into Kyle talking about the importance of tight end 2 in the system. I don't have time. It's just your words aren't matching your actions, bro. There's certain things that the words just aren't. It's not adding up. So we'll see what happens, man. Listen, that's going to do it for us tonight. Tony, you have any final thoughts before we get out of here? This was a fun show. I like the little debate that we started with. And I like, I think we did a good job of ping-ponging our thoughts off of each other. It was a lot of fun for me. I want to thank you for taking some time out to join tonight. That was excellent stuff by you. Glad you made yourself available. I think we had fun. Any final thoughts, Tony? Let's get out of here.
No, I mean, that's pretty much it. We just got to wait till the draft to come here. I mean, you start hearing more about top 30 visits. I think there's 2 or 3 official guys that are that have been invited for a top 30 visit. One of I think 2 tight ends, actually. No, 1 tight end and 1 defensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say, was it Derek Harmon, I think? But yeah, you can start. Good.
If the Titans know exactly who they're picking, do they have to keep that to the vest?
No, they could announce it before that. Don't you remember who did that? Oh, who fucking did that? Someone announced the pick before the draft even started.
Right. Okay, no, just stay with me. So that happens now. Let's just say the Titans lock in on who they're going to get. And the scouts say, yeah, listen, they're telling their other scout buddies on other teams, don't even look at that guy. He's not going to be there. That's the pick at number 1, right? And then that scout tells who's picking at 2 again? Damn.
Cleveland and the Giants.
2, Giants at 3. Right. So then all of a sudden, the scouts are telling everybody, if this guy is there, we're not getting him. If this guy's there, we're getting him. If this guy's there, we're getting So all of a sudden, the first 5 picks are out in the football world, in the scouting community. Right? If that's the case, which I do think happens, do you think the Niners may sign some more veterans before the draft? And if so, how many do you think can be signed? Give me an over-under on 2.5 more signings between now and the draft. I think that's a low number. 2.5.
I'm going under. Because I think if they do decide to somebody, it's going to be on day 3.
Wow. Okay.
I'm telling you, they are going all in on this draft because I honestly think they feel that this draft is that deep that with 11 picks currently, I mean, they could turn 11 picks into 14 picks. They could turn 11 picks into 13, 12 picks. They could turn 11 picks into 8 picks.
Well, I don't know if you remember the other year when Seattle had 7 picks. They finished with the most in the draft. They had like 14 or something like that. Do you remember that? They just kept trading back. So it definitely happens.
So, I mean, my thought process is when you have this many openings, you're looking to have the most ability to make a selection. So I guess the more picks you have, you could have a higher success rate. So me, honestly, I'm going to put pressure on them. I think they need to hit 4 picks as 4 key contributors, and they need 2 picks to be either big special team contributors or situational players. So I'm expecting 6 players out of the draft class, the selections, to be either starters, contributors, or situational players. They have to.
Okay.
Because that's how depleted this roster is. And listen, you could hit it out of the park with an undrafted free agent. Right? Think about it. Brock Purdy was 1 pick away from being an undrafted free agent. I mean, there was no guarantee he was coming to San Francisco, but he was 1 selection away from being an undrafted free agent, and he's going to make probably about $50 to $55 million.
See, I hate that you finished the show with that because that was exactly my point. Why not trade back and accumulate more picks? Because there's no guarantee that Brock Purdy would have ever even signed here if he hit free agency, if he hit the undrafted free agent pool. So then why not guarantee if you start in the 5th round and keep trading back, why not guarantee we can make 4 more picks?
If they didn't draft Brock Purdy was going to sign here because they would have gave him abundance of money, just like they did with Evan Anderson. Evan Anderson was on his way to Seattle. Evan Anderson was at Seattle offered him $150 million fully $150,000 fully guaranteed. Seattle offered him $150,000. 49ers came back at $250, $200. Seattle went up to $200. The Niners went to $250. They gave him $250,000 fully guaranteed. Right? And now potentially you have a 2-down starter in the run defense and your base defense. who showed that he had some talent.
This has not been a good return on investment at all.
Huh?
This has not been a good return on investment.
On Evan Anderson?
It's not been, no.
I'll show you some clips of him, man.
I could find 5 good plays of anybody. This guy, no. You're not going to convince me that. Now, by default, you might be in the starting rotation now. That's default, though. If we were on the roster, that'd be by default. That don't mean it was
I think he has a legit shot to be the under tackle in this defense this year. The kid needed a full season in the weight room, a full off season in the weight room. He has experience as a player in year 1. And I think I'll tell you this. If the 49ers, when they brought him up on the roster and they dropped him and they brought him back up, because after the second time, you have to cut him. And then he goes through waivers, and then you can put him back on the practice squad. If they didn't keep him on that active roster, I will guarantee you someone would have picked him up. I mean, we'll never know. But
right.
I'm telling you, there was that many people going after him as an undrafted free agent.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I still remember the nightmare of KD Cannon, so it's troublesome. It's fun. It's fun.
This kid's nowhere near KD Cannon, bro. KD Cannon.
I'm just saying he was the most sought after undrafted free agent wide receiver, and we got him. And then
at 5'9".
Yeah,
he was good at one thing, running straight down the seam. That was it.
Yeah,
and that gimmick ass Baylor offense.
And, I didn't even see this one. This was the last one from Sean here. He said, quote, he's so mad he doesn't even watch SportsCenter anymore. He's teasing you for being mad at me. But guys, listen, man, we hope you guys enjoyed this show tonight. We appreciate everybody who stuck with us and rocked out with us. Hopefully you guys all hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button. Bling! We appreciate you all, and we will be back very soon, man. I got a show coming on later on this week with my guys from 49ers Hive, and we are constantly working on other shows and content for you, so make sure you guys are locked in, all right? Head on over to that Patreon, too, patreon.com/NB9ERS. That's going to do it for us tonight. Tony, you ready to go home?
Yes, sir.
Prepare for glory.
Anticipate pain.
But always
remain faithful.
Peace.
We all gas, no brakes, pumped up, no fakes. We spinning, we winning, we high stakes. We never miss, we all makes. Look at us dudes trying to prove, bringing you news with nothing to lose. Mike, Nick, Tony, Wayne, Method Man, we bring the pain. Hey, see, I'ma confess it. We under the pressure. If you looking to find us, we them nothing but Niners. We nothing but Niners. We nothing but Niners. We nothing but Niners. We nothing but we them nothing but Niners.